Okay, we'll go ahead and gather back real quick. It's nice to hear everyone talking with each other. We have a couple of questions and they've come up, and I'll tell you the answer to some of those. So I have a book that I co-edited a couple of years ago in the back. I think it's like $20. There's a QR code, or it's just $20. And there's an article that might be for some of you about the frame of missionary, the heart of missionary care around Holy Saturday and around participating in Jesus' stillness and peace and the instruments of his peace and prayer. And if you're interested in kind of what does it look like to speak with people who are not Orthodox in Orthodox language, that's an example of that. But it's, there's some other interesting chapters that might be interesting for some. Thank you for our time this morning. This has been really good. I really enjoyed our getting into the heart of some of what really matters. So thank you. Before lunch, we're kind of going to pivot towards this question about how to be present. How to be present. Because that really that's the heart of it for us. And I want to do a little activity with the stone. It feels to me in the world we live in that it's really hard to be present. It's really difficult. Unusually so. What gets in the way for us? What makes it so hard to be present? Being here now, being present. And it feels really hard to be present. Like our mind kind of goes elsewhere. We're someplace else than where we are. We're not really present, not really here. What makes it so hard to be present? There's too much going on. You said a lot of distraction. You said a lot of,
This is a problem that has been for really long. I think that it's exacerbated different ways that the places we can put our mind all over the place. You look at just patient practices where the history, it's all about how can I actually be here in the moment that I'm and be aware. God calls Moses up the mountain. Come up the mountain and be on the mountain. Come up the mountain and then be somewhere else. The command is come up the mountain and then be on the mountain. This has been with us for a long time. We just have so many places to put our fragmented. Hard to just be where you are.
So there's something to the human condition that makes it difficult to be really here, be really present. And it's technology particularly has compounded that. Say a little bit more about that. Larry's saying we can be focused on me. What's in it for me? What do I get out? Instead of being aware of God, aware of the people in front of me, aware of life around me. And we can and that sort of self-focus it's like it makes us myopic. Like our vision gets blurred. So it's the kind of the way that stillness can lead to a lot of the thoughts and they're not, I think what you're saying is they're not the thoughts we have, they're the thoughts that have us, right? And we can get kind of lost in that rumination, those thoughts. Yes, Father Chris.
And was just talking to me right before we got back together, but I was also on my phone during, I got this email that came in. Doing that, I got to remember what time lunch is it. And so, sometimes I think the responsibilities of different spheres of my life and keep us thinking about those things instead of maybe just focused on the thing that's right in front of us.
Father Chris is saying responsibility and the burden that we feel for all these things we feel responsible for. And they can really take us from being present, being here, being now. We can live any time but now.
unwilling to allow.
Yeah, there's just wanting to get to the point of completion and not just letting the thing take the time that it takes. No. Yes. Yeah, being really present is a labor and an exercise. And it has to be balanced, with times of disengage. And to think that you can always be present and not need a nap is a real struggle in the world today. We need breaks. We need Sabbath. We need naps. And when we don't give ourselves that grace, it means that we're just trying to be on all the time in a way that's just not possible. Can you say a bit more about that? I remember a couple of years ago that really struck me. It's really obvious in the Gospel of Mark, where Jesus is just before the calling of his disciples. He's doing all of these, preaching in word and deed the kingdom of God in the cities of Judea. And he's doing the thing that he's come to the earth to do. And he's exhausted. He's overwhelmed by all the people coming. And he retreats in the very thing that he's come to the earth to do. And that is where he calls the disciples. It's out of his need for them to join him in the work that it is to do. That he calls them. It's obvious in Mark's gospel. And I kind of internalize it as a sort of like franchise model. All right, I got this, and we're going to expand. We're going to open up 12 of these, right? It's like he calls them out of his need for them. And he models that need for rest and retreat. It's like he can speak the word that raises the dead and multiplies the loaves, and he needs to get a life and rest. Yeah, and it's hard today to really do that, to really keep those rhythms. Pause, rest. Maybe you could even say, like, part of what makes it hard to be present is that we're not present to ourselves, and we're not tuned in to ourselves, and to like, is this my burden to carry? Do I get some rest? What's going on in me? And that kind of not being present to ourselves makes it really hard to be present to others. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, is this kind of making sense? This idea that we have a hard time being present, being focused, being here and now, or is it confusing? Missing the mark for you all? Yeah. The greatest commandment is that we would love the Lord our God with our whole being, our mind and our heart and our strength and our spirit, and that we would love our neighbor as ourselves. And I think for a lot of people, the person that's hardest to love in the world is themselves. And we cannot love this is just a true thing. We cannot love beyond our love for the person we hate the most. The person we hate the most in the world is what tethers our love. It's stuck to whoever it is we hate the most in the world. It's something that is just true. So that's a hard thing to say. I'm sorry to say that, because that is a hard thing to say. But it is a true thing to say. How do you know when somebody is really being present? When somebody is really with you and giving, eye contact. Now, here's an interesting thing. Some people, especially men, don't like eye contact. And so you have to be attentive to the person. But like eye contact is that, hey, I'm looking you in the face. But then also like not interrupt. He's like giving you space to speak. Yeah. Good. How else do you know somebody is being present with you? How they respond? Yeah. What are responses that help you to feel like, oh, this person is present? So someone can respond, it's okay, that's a good point. You can be present even if it's not a pleasant conversation. And you don't have to agree to be present. But you do have to really communicate, hey, I actually hear you. And you need to communicate that to the degree that the other person feels heard.
On subject. Like you are having a conversation and then they say, oh, they go off subject. And hearing what you're saying, like the conversation,
Yeah. And so hearing, actually like commenting in ways that kind of stay on topic. Yeah.
I think when someone wants you to clarify what you mean so that they understand you better, because they're really trying to work out what you're saying, I can feel like, okay, they are listening because they are recognizing maybe they don't understand. And their recognition of that, asking you to clarify, helps me do that.
Yeah, when somebody really wants to try to understand you so that they actually work to clarify that they understand. It is like that effort has a way of really conveying to you like, okay, we're working towards understanding here. Yeah, good. Other ways that you know somebody's being present with you.
their stamp.
Yeah. Is there a kind of posture towards you like open and like leaning in, or is it closed off and turned away? Yeah. Yep.
Check on reaction. So, for example, you brought them something help out your issues, and then the next time you see that person asks, I'm still in it. Then that way I will know, oh, that person that need payment.
So when the person follows up, that's lovely. Yeah. So when someone responds to what you've shared with them, and it's clear that like they took some kind of action with it, that feels really, that's a real gift of presence.
Every once in a while, and this is rarer, but every once in a while, they will offer you a little insight to what you recognize, or they'll identify something from what you said that makes you reflect again on what you just said in a way that you didn't realize. And I think that's incredible. It's when able to do that.
Yeah, so it's not just parroting back what you said, but they actually like kind of, it's like in improv, you have this sort of yes and there's this kind of and they give it back to you in a way that like expands it and you understand yourself better. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You do understand yourself better through another person's presence with you. That's very true. Okay, I would say being present is pretty important, right? I think we can agree on that. I think we agree on it's pretty hard. Present. I think we can also agree on, hey, we have some cues that let us know when somebody's being present with us. What helps you know? What helps you to be present with somebody? Does that make sense? What helps you to be able to do that? And this might be one where I can just tell you some stuff. I would love to hear from you all. You have to put yourself aside for a moment. You put yourself aside. You put your judgments aside. You put all the things that are elsewhere, some other time. You put that aside. You have to put yourself aside. Yeah. What else helps you to be present? Yeah, you have to see the person and their situation as important, right? Oh, wow, this person really matters. And this situation really matters. And so I need to put aside myself and be able to really be attentive to them. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
It helps for there to be maybe a set aside time or space to have that conversation, less casual, to say, this is the time and the space to have this conversation, and so I'm to other things aside.
That's very true. That setting aside time to be present also requires protecting the space and recognizing that, yes. While you're trying to get ready to get out the door for liturgy on Sunday morning is not the time for a present conversation. You got to put that aside. And find the time. Set that aside. Oh, that's good. What else? Helps us. I want to add to that, like assuming good and assuming that this maybe somebody's like acting this way because they got a lot going on in their life. And you can assume good of people. You can assume grace for people. Yeah, Marion asked, is it being present just about the person in front of you, or can you expand that to what's happening in the community around you?
In other words,
Yes, which we will get to this afternoon. Like a lot of things, I think it gets more complex. The same idea applies, but it's like how to be present with a community or a group. It's very similar to being present with a person, but there's a bit more going on when we find ourselves there. Okay, I don't want to add any thoughts about present. My observation in the world today is that a lot of people are find it very difficult to be present. And they seem to be anywhere but here, anytime but now, burdened by their burdens. I also see that really being present with another person or a group of people or community is one of the most precious gifts that you can offer. It's so easy for us to really feel like we're dying of thirst, stranded in an ocean, surrounded by people, but not really present. And there's such a gift of being able to really listen to somebody, to be really present with them, to treat them, what she was saying about as really seems like a mirror of the image of God, being particularly important, and the thing that matters to them as being really important. It isn't hard to do, but it is something we have to choose to do. And I can tell you from where I sit, the work I do, there's a real need for it. A lot of people really, all of us really need to be seen and heard. And we also need to be present with one another as much as they need us to be present. When we think about being Christ witness, it certainly means being present to Jesus, to his heart. And it also means being present to the person in front of us. We have to do both of those things. And we have to do it in a way that is somehow present to us, to ourselves. Okay, does that make sense? Does that track? All right, here's what we're going to do. You've got this stone that you picked up yesterday. There's a word on it that matters. And I want you to find somebody who you don't know that well. And I want to ask you to have a little moment of presence. Okay. And I want to ask you to show them your rock, point out what is beautiful about it, what you love about it, what makes it precious. Share with them whatever you feel comfortable sharing about this word and why it's important. Don't share anything you don't want to share. And then take a minute and the person who's hearing that, I just want you to pretend like the person in front of you really matters and that this stone is really important, because they do actually matter. Then I want you to kind of hear about the other person's stone. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay, and then here's the catch, all right? I want to ask you to ask the other person if they'll carry your stone this afternoon and trade stones with one another. And just take their stone and just keep it this afternoon. And over lunch and in the afternoon, just as we're going through the day, turning in the background, just be praying for them and for this word and what the actual desires of their heart, stuff that matters. Just talk to Jesus about them and about this stone. And then we'll do something with it again before the day is over. Okay. How's that sound? All right. I'm going to push some of you, I think, out of your comfort zone. So with this, and that's okay. And then we're going to take we'll take an hour and a half for lunch. We don't need to rush lunch. I know if you're an introvert like me, you need some downtime. And I'm so soft-spoken and calm. You probably need to wake up too and move your body and walk around. And there's a lot of beautiful spaces around here to spend some time. And there's a lot of beauty here in this space. And so feel free to have some lunch. Feel free to talk with one another. Feel free also to take a time to have some time to yourself. and just to reflect on what we've been reflecting on, why all this matters to you. And then this afternoon, we'll come back and we'll begin to move into this. What does it mean to be Jesus' witness in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth? And we'll begin to kind of move outward. But all of that is utterly worthless and void and does nothing if we are not first connected to the heart of Jesus. For ourselves, for one another, and for all peoples. Yeah, we'll go and do this for about 10 minutes and then start lunch at 12:30 and be back here at 2.